Now we're going to be talking about migration after ministers have been urged to ditch plans that would stop migrant care workers apparently coming to the UK. And we still want to hear from you on 0344 499 1000. Particularly, we want to know, what is your festive table not complete without? After a shocking survey shows that a third of Brits would like to have Yorkshire pudding with their turkey. Joining me now is Louise Calvey, an independent refugee and asylum specialist and a great friend of the show. Louise, welcome to Talk TV. Explain to me a little bit about the challenges that people are facing. We've learnt today that this 18,600 cap, which is the amount of money someone has to be able to demonstrate that they earn to bring their family into the UK, is going to be going up to 29,000, which is less than the 38,000 that we were promised by James Cleverly in the House of Commons. What sort of impact is this moderate increase, not as big as we were promised, going to have on people coming here to the UK?
It's still a huge increase, I think, Jake. You know, as you say, from 18,600 to 29,000 is a massive rise, particularly for people that potentially aren't based in London. We know that London have higher salaries. So really the impact that this is going to have, we know it's going to be really disproportionate on people outside London. It's likely to be significantly disproportionate on women who will struggle more through these changes in regulations. But that's speculation, and I think we're getting to the critical problem here, Jake. There hasn't been any economic or equalities impact assessment released from government behind this decision. I think the fact that this was announced in the headlines in media, I think about a week and a half ago, and only yesterday, I think it was 5 o'clock yesterday evening, the Home Office guidance was sneaked out that showed that actually they weren't raising it to 38,000 as was the headlines. I think that's the issue, Jake. We've got a government here that are releasing policies through clickbait headlines. They're not doing the economic inequalities impact assessment on this. So you and I can speculate, but what we really need is a government that's doing their homework before they make these announcements.
But Louise, we've welcomed 750,000 legal migrants into the UK in the last year. I haven't seen an economic analysis of that, but my analysis, standing at the bar in the Black Dog pub in Crawshay Booth, is that people believe that is far, far too high. Surely the government's reasonable to say we're going to take steps to stop low earners coming to this country. If we believe in a points-based immigration system and a highly skilled economy, surely we don't want people earning less than the national average salary to be coming in and undercutting British workers. You don't need an economic analysis for that. It's just the right thing to do, isn't it?
No, I expect government absolutely to do an equalities and economic impact assessment on things. These are people coming to the UK paying huge NHS surcharges. Don't forget, they have to pay an NHS surcharge. They're coming in on working visas, paying tax. They're paying a huge amount to the government in terms of visa processing fees. They're also propping up core sectors like health and social care. If government aren't looking into the loss in tax revenue from these changes, and they're not looking into how core functions like health and social care are going to continue without the numbers of people coming into the UK to work in that sector, that's a real concern, Jake. This is not sensible government.
So do you not agree with the NHS surcharge? I think most people I spoke to would say, well, look, I've lived and worked here my whole life. I've paid in to the NHS, and people who come to this country should have to contribute something before they start relying on the NHS. That seems completely reasonable. Do you not agree with that?
I believe that the tax and national insurance system should be fair for everyone. I don't believe
so it should be fair for people who've lived in this country their entire life, paid tax and national insurance 20, 30 years ago, that paid to build the hospitals that we all rely on now. And if people come to this country, surely before they take anything out, we should ask them to put something in.
And you do, and they are. So what's the problem, Jake?
Well, no, I'm just saying I agree that we should be asking people to pay a premium NHS surcharge. I agree with it.
No, what I'm saying quite clearly is I expect our government to do a financial impact assessment of the loss of that revenue when people stop coming here. Your government wants to stop migration, Jake. It wants to stop the numbers of people coming to the UK. That is an idealistic goal. I expect you to do your homework on the impact that has on our lost tax revenue, on the impact disproportionately of people not working in London and not earning those salaries, the impact on women from an equalities perspective. That's what a sensible government would do, Jake, and you're not doing that.
Louise, you say the government wants to stop migration. I tell you, if it does, it's not doing a very good job at it, because we've had
No, it isn't, is it?
750,000 people come over last year. I mean, that clearly isn't the aim of government. What the government wants is a points-based immigration system where people who are needed by the UK economy, who are high earners and are going to come and massively contribute to the UK, come into this country. The Prime Minister said when this announcement first came out that it would cut 300, I think he said he had cut 300,000 people off that 750 target. What sort of impact do you think this will have going up to 29,000? Will it cut 300,000? Will it cut more? Will it cut less? What do you think?
I don't think any of us have any ideas, because your government hasn't worked up and hasn't projected that. Those statistics sit within the Home Office and they're not in the public domain, Jake. That's the problem. You're making huge cuts to the amount of migrant workers coming into the UK. You haven't projected the impact on health and social care. So when people can't get a care place for a relative, when hospices, nursing homes start to have to close down because they can't recruit to the vacancies that they have, your government has nothing in place around that.
But Louise, look, what I would say is that this is why people are so frustrated. We cannot get anything done in this country. We won a general election in 2019 with the biggest government majority for a generation. In that manifesto, it said we will cut immigration. And now, as soon as we try and do that, we have you and other people, I'm not blaming you particularly, saying we need an equalities review. We need the civil service to spend 2 or 3 years deciding what the impact will be. The British public just wants something to happen. Surely the government is right to say, let's take immediate action to bring the number of legal migrants down. There's no point being a sovereign nation if you don't have a sovereign immigration system that the government can alter and defend.
I don't think it's lefty or wokey to ask for an economic impact assessment when you've had 14 years in government, Jake.
I didn't say it was lefty and wokey. I just said it is the system we have in this country that means that nothing ever happens, because whatever you suggest, there is an army of lawyers and civil servants rushing behind you with reams of paperwork. So you've got to tick all these boxes. Why don't we just get on with it, change this salary cap and bring immigration down?
14 years in government you've had. Everyone in the UK has a significantly worse standard of living after your government of 14 years, apart from the super rich. That's the reality. And your government's answer to that, to the huge galactic waiting list in the NHS, the huge homelessness crisis, the huge poverty crisis, your government's answer to that is to dangle migrants in front of the electorate, hope that Louise, frightens people enough, win yourselves a few votes, and then let's hope,
Louise, that it does work and we are able to do something about this. Sorry to cut you short, but we are very short of time. But thank you to Louise, independent refugee and asylum specialist.